Jerry Jones said that Tony Romo is definitely on schedule. He's going to have an MRI today. He expected to show everything is clean and that he's on target to return. Now, he refused to specify a return date, but October 30th has been widely discussed. Quote, unquote, Tony is our number one quarterback. This is what Jerry Jones said after the win for the Cowboys with Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott. Steve Mariucci joining me right now. Do you agree that Romo should be reinstalled no matter what, no matter even if Prescott looks impressive in Lambeau next week, Mooch?
Good morning. You know, we talk about this every week, don't we? And we think that it's going to sort itself out, you know, and Dak's going to be 3-3 or, you know, have a decent record and look like he's promising. But then when he keeps winning like this, when we ask the question, we start going, no, really, do you think you just stay with the hot hand? My God, it's like, why do you mess up this great chemistry that's going on over there in Dallas? But I do think he's going to turn Tony Romo if he's healthy and practicing well and pain-free and all that stuff out of loyalty, knowing full well that they can always go back to the guy that was really good, you know, Dak. What a year he's having.
So you would do that? What would be the coach's
playing this well?
What would the coach's concept be? What would your concept be to go back to Romo?
The coaches have had Tony Romo in this scheme for Tony's been there longer than those coaches, and so you know it's been his job. He's played well. You know his playoff record is 2-4. It's not great, but as far as his individual statistics and pass rating, it's been fantastic. So I think out of loyalty and maybe opening up the playbook, you can put him back in there and expect to win. Heck, the last time he had a full season, he was 12-4. Nothing wrong with that, right?
No, I know, but you know, first-time quarterbacks are 41-50 in playoffs. So is that playing on their minds too? Perhaps that in the same way that Denver didn't want to go with Osweiler, perhaps going into the promised land and go with a veteran hand.
Yeah, you maybe. You know, when it's playoffs, it's one and done stuff, and so you say, who gives us the best chance to win? It's not about the future. It's not about the past. It's about who gives us the best chance to win this game right here. So they're trying to get there. They are in the driver's seat in that division. But I do think they go back to Tony, and if he's off a little bit, or if he's sore, if he's not producing, I think they feel comfortable in going back to Dak.
What about?
It's a good story. It's not the only team in the league that has these quarterback issues. Yeah, some teams have them with bad teams, but they have a good team with an issue.
Yeah, I want to get to some of them. Steve Mariucci here on the Rich Eisen Show. Do you go to Cap now that obviously his contract's taken care of? That maybe your team's not on the hook. That may have been the issue. I know you're saying he's underweight and under practice, but I mean that may have been the reason why he's standing there on the sideline, Steve.
Is it done for sure? Is it done? Do you know the details of the contract?
Well, it seems that they're just not on the hook guaranteed if he gets hurt, essentially.
Well, that was huge because think about it. Look at the big picture. The kid forget about he went to the Super Bowl when he was younger. Forget about that. Let's talk about the here and now. He had 3 surgeries in the offseason. You talk about Romo. I mean, Cap had 3 surgeries, all right? Then he's changed his diet to a point where he's not gaining his muscle mass back. He's light, okay? He didn't practice in the OTAs, the spring ball, right? He didn't do much in training camp. He's really underprepared. And is he fragile or more fragile than he was? Well, he's been hurt. He's been getting hurt too. And so that contract situation was weighing heavy on their minds. Sure it was, because this kid could just, I'm on my back sore or whatever that is, and you're on the hook for another $15 million next year. Come on. So I think that getting the contract done to a point where, hey, you get hurt, it's not all guaranteed. I think it's good for both sides because it opens the door for Cap. And the 49ers can take a deep breath and say, all right, let's take a chance and see if this kid can hold up. Now, the question is for Chip Kelly, because Chip doesn't care. That ain't coming out of his paycheck. Chip doesn't care about that contract stuff as much as the front office does. But can he win? Can he play better than Gabbert? Is he ready? Did he practice worth a darn? Because I'm hearing over there, you know, it's right across the street here, I'm hearing that Christian Ponder has some support in that locker room. Hey, this guy's been doing good, and we like the kid, and he fits this offense, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I think if Gabbert keeps struggling, long story short, if Gabbert keeps struggling, yes, I think they're going to make a change and try Kaepernick with their fingers crossed, thinking, hey, we don't know if he's quite ready to do this yet.
All right, let's unpack the poll question for Steve Mariucci that folks can vote on at on our app at the Apple App Store or Google Play if they haven't already downloaded it. Brockman.
All right, Mooch, which team needs to make a change at quarterback? 49ers, Bears, Cowboys when Romo's healthy, Dolphins, or Jets?
Okay, so how about the Bears? Okay, let's talk Bears. Brian Hoyer has thrown for 300 yards now 3 games in a row. Jay Cutler has never done that in his career. Okay, and I look at these guys. I look at Kaepernick. I look at Cutler. When the cameras flash on the sidelines, they're standing there. They seem to be in a trance. They seem to be almost disconnected from their teams. I mean, body language sometimes says things. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into it wrong. But right now, Brian Hoyer's playing okay. And Jay Cutler, he's making a lot of money now. They probably would like to get out of some of that contract. And Brian Hoyer comes at a reasonable price, right? So I think playing him longer is I think, in their best interest. As far as Fitz is concerned, at some point when the 1-4 Jets are out of the playoff race, I think they make a change and see what they have in Bryce Petty, or see if Geno's got anything left. Because right now, Brandon Marshall, he likes Fitz. He had one of his greatest years ever with Fitz. They're kind of joined at the hip. And so Brandon Marshall and Decker don't want to make a change yet. But at some point when they're, if they're 1-7 and it looks like forget about it, then you got to say, okay, what's the future? Because Fitz is on a 1-year deal. Then we make a change there too.
Well, Adam Gase said, Mooch, that Tannehill, no matter how many times you ask me, he's my quarterback for the rest of the season. I mean,
Yeah.
walk me through what Gase is saying there in between the lines.
They've got a lot invested in Ryan Tannehill. They've got a lot of money. They've got a lot of time and practice time and energy and hopefulness and everything in Ryan Tannehill. So they're going to give him a full season to show his true colors, okay? In this system. It's a new system for him now again. So I don't think Adam Gase is saying he's our guy forever. I think he's saying for this season, and they're going to just evaluate it as a whole, and his body of work will show when it's all said and done. Do they bring him back at that expense, or do they start over? Starting over and looking for a young quarterback is painful sometimes. It doesn't always turn into a Dak Prescott or Carson Wentz, And so I think they're going to give it a full season, and that's the right thing to do over there. It's a new regime, new system, and let's get this entire body of work evaluated.
So basically, Cowboys, you think they should stick with Romo? Yes or no?
Yes, but
okay.
When he's ready.
Okay.
Later on, a few more weeks, and when he's ready. But you know what? The good news is that, hey, if he's subpar or if he looks like he's not himself, you put the other guy back in. No harm, no foul. Easy.
And then you basically said Dolphins should stay put. Niners, You're about a game away from doing it. But the Bears, you didn't stutter. That's the one that you say that they should just stick with Hoyer.
Well, I think that, now if Brian Hoyer starts doing things like, he's been inconsistent too. Mm-hmm. By the way, speaking of Hoyer.
Yes.
What university had more wins at quarterback this weekend?
Gosh, come on.
Michigan State or Michigan?
Well, the Michigan guy became the first 39-year-old or older with 400 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions ever. So we could just
we could
just go there.
The guys were 3-0, right? Drew Stanton, Cousins, Hoyer.
You're just talking about the ones in pros. You're not talking about the actual current quarterbacks of those institutions, correct? Is that what you're saying?
Well, the Wolverines had a scrimmage. Okay? I turned that game on in the hotel, and Rutgers had 13 3-and-outs in a row. I went, okay, I'm turning the channel. I can't deal with this.
And interestingly enough, I didn't change the channel. It was fantastic. Before I let you go, what's the difference with the Falcons this year? Why are they 4-1? Last year they were 5-0. Why should we buy that this 4-0 is different than the 5-0 we saw last year?
Sometimes there's wins and sometimes there's signature wins, okay? Well, when you win a game, the Georgia Dome, and all fired up down there, that's fine. But, God, to go into Mile High, they got a long name over there. What is it?
Yeah.
And to go in there and beat the champs in their backyard, best offense against, pretty much the best defense, that was a signature win. and they were getting pressure on the quarterback. Yeah, it was a rookie quarterback, and Paxton Lynch wasn't as good as he's been. But that was a huge win. That's an eye-opener now for the Falcon fans, because this team, we know they're legit. And Julio Jones wasn't that involved.
Yeah, it's those running backs. Those two running backs are pretty impressive.
And then Richard Smith on defense, he's got them playing better. They've got a lot. They got a lot of their weapons. Their marquee names are on offense. But the Falcons, you know what? I'm really proud of Dan Quinn. I remember hiring him when I was with the Niners out of Hofstra.
Yeah, I think you he told me that you had him put his wife on the phone, right, Steve?
Oh yeah, when I decided to hire him, and not some of these other guys who had pro coaching experience, when they all interviewed, he answered the phone. I said I'd call you back in a day. I call him, Dan. He goes, "This is he." I said, "Can I talk to your wife?" "This is Coach Mariucci." He goes, "What?" "Can I talk to Stacy?" So he puts his wife on, and I said, "Stace, are you willing? Are you fired up to come to this coast, move and uproot your job, the whole thing, and be a part of this?" She said, "Coach, absolutely." I said, "Okay, put Dan on the phone." I wanted to make sure that his home life was good, and that they would enjoy the experience moving away from family and friends and the whole thing. He was a young guy, and so they did, and the rest is history.
The rest is history. All right, Mooch. We'll see you Thursday. See you Thursday when we kick things off with the Chargers and the Broncos.
That's going to be a good one.
Oh, well, before I let you go, I got 30 seconds left. What does Mike McCoy do? What does he say to his team right now
when they lose? Poor guy. So when I was coaching the Packers, right, Mike McCoy and Doug Peterson were our quarterbacks and our young guys, and in quality control, Mike. And I got a photo to show you that. And now they're head coaches in this league. Mike McCoy, the Chargers, get this, have 15 guys on injured reserve. 15 already. Okay, we just been through the first quartile, and they've got 15 guys on injured reserve, and Joey Bosa didn't show up till now. So he's been behind the 8 ball the whole time, and they lose 4 games at the end, 4. By 14 points total. I mean, talk about snake bit. Just keep swinging. Just keep swinging, man.
Mooch, we'll see you Thursday. Broncos and Chargers on NFL Network.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.